Welcome to Quiet Courage, the podcast for anybody ready to show up and be seen. I'm Keisha, and here we explore self-worth, courage, and personal growth with action steps, personal stories, and encouragement to help you claim your power and live confidently. Remembering, your worth isn't something you have to earn. Here, we practice living in it every day. So let's take small, brave steps together and start building the lives we've been dreaming of. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Quiet Courage. I am so excited for this little talk we're going to have because it's a passion of mine. Today we're talking about something that took me years to learn. How to separate your inner voice from everyone else's opinion. Okay? Because sometimes we don't even realize how much other people's opinions are shaping our lives until we take a look back and realize we made a decision that wasn't even really ours. Let me tell you a story. When I was going to college, oftentimes people would tell me that when I say like, oh, I'm going for psychology, they'd say, oh, you don't want to go to school for psychology. You don't want to deal with other people's problems. Like, why would you want to do that? And it was just like a common response that I got when I was sharing about what I was going to school for, what I kind of wanted to do. It was repetitive. People would just tell me like, oh, you don't want to deal with other people's problems. Okay. And so I'd hear it over and over again. And eventually I took those opinions as my own opinion. I actually remember the day and where I was. I was sitting at the kitchen table. I was home from college. I was visiting my parents and one of their friends was over. And I was telling him about like, yep, I'm going to college and this is what I'm going to college for, like psychology. And he told me again, he's like, oh, you don't want to deal with people's problems for the rest of your life. And at that moment, I thought, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I don't want to do that. And I made the decision to change my major. And the crazy thing is this person who was giving me the advice, he had a life nothing like what I wanted. Okay. He was a bachelor. He worked construction. I didn't want to go into construction. I didn't want to live alone. It was just a completely different lifestyle. Nothing that I was wanting for my life. And I took his opinion as fact. And when I went back to college, I changed my major. And I started going for education instead of psychology. And yes, I do love education. I love teaching. And but there's aspects of education that I don't love. The thing that is almost mind-boggling to me is that I let someone else's opinion become my own. At that point in my life, I didn't even realize that what was really happening. It took a lot of reflection for me to realize what happened and why I made that choice. Because sometimes someone else's opinion in your life, it can feel like their opinion has more authority or more pull than your own voice. Okay, and so sometimes this can happen because as we're growing up, it is very common for kids to hear somebody say something and take it as fact. Okay. Now, however, many people don't consciously grow out of that. Okay. So when people were giving me opinions, I was treating their opinions as fact. And I wasn't even cross-referencing with what I thought because they were authority figures and they knew best. Opinions are one of the cheapest things that someone can give you. They don't even need experience in what they're talking about to give you their opinion. I remember 2 years ago when I was thinking about starting this publishing company, I told somebody really close to me that I was going to do a publishing company and I was super excited. And he told me, he's like, you don't want to do a publishing company. That's way too much work. And what I realized during that time is that he was handing me his limiting belief that it was too much work. Okay, because you don't even need to be experienced in what you're talking about. That person had never run a publishing company. That person I bet you if I had asked that person what a publishing company entails, he couldn't have given me an answer. So like basically what I'm trying to say is that people don't need experience when they're giving you their opinions. And another thing to look at when somebody is giving you advice or giving you opinions is what have they achieved in that aspect of their life? Are their results something that you want in your life? So those are just their perspectives that they're sharing, and sometimes they're limiting beliefs that they have they're not even aware of, but they're just handing you their limiting belief. Nope, that won't work, too much work, like, oh, don't try that, like be afraid of that, worry about that. Like, just be aware if you share an idea or something that you're doing and somebody gives you a bunch of naysaying, that just be aware of that and take a moment to pause and think about what they're saying, where they're at in their life. Okay. So what I needed to do is I needed to learn how to filter the voices and people's opinions. So here are some things that I do to filter all of these opinions. Okay. When someone gives me an opinion, I look at the source. If a millionaire is going to give me advice about money, I'm probably going to listen. If someone who has never raised kids or doesn't have any experience with kids is going to give me a parent advice, I'm probably just going to let that advice go in one ear, go out the other. I'm not going to be rude about it, but I'm not going to take it to heart. So you look at their experiences and look at their life. Now, someone very well may have experience in something they're giving you advice about, but here's the next step. Look at their results. If someone has a terrible marriage, they're probably not the person to go to for marriage advice. So the advice should come from somebody whose life reflects the outcome that you want. I'm not saying to not take advice from some people, right? Just filter it, because people are so interesting and they have so many different life experiences, and every person has a strength. So maybe if one person is pretty poor on their finances, but they have a great marriage, that would be a good person to take marriage advice from, or just listen to what they say when they're talking about marriage. If someone is a great teacher, but also like a horrible driver, don't take their driving advice, or you know what I'm saying? So filter it through their expertise. Look for somebody who has an expertise in that area, and then listen to it. And also take time and space to hear your own thoughts. If this is hard for you, and if you're like, oh my gosh, I really don't know what I think about this, and you just are getting other people's opinions but not listening to your own, take some time to write, and just like write a journal, or like sit down and give yourself 20-30 minutes and write 2 pages nonstop. Whatever is coming out of like your head, even if it's like, I don't know what I think about this, I don't know what to think about this, I think this one thing about it. It will eventually clear, and you'll eventually be able to work down to what you actually think about it, what's important to you, what decisions you want to make too. This is extremely important when sharing things with other people, is guarding your dreams. When you have big visions and you're a go-getter and you like want to reach for something more, like you haven't achieved it yet, you don't have the backstory to back it up yet, but you're going someplace new and you're excited about it. Be careful who you share it with, because these dreams and these ideas that you're just developing and you're so excited for, they are tender. Okay? They can be easily shot down, but dreams are amazing, and your big goals, you can definitely do it. But not everyone deserves access to your dreams and to your goals. When I was first like reaching out and like starting to publish some books and like do things online and be reach towards things that I hadn't done before, I learned very quickly to be selective of who I shared my dreams and my goals with. Because there are people who are going to hand you their limiting beliefs. There are people who, when you share an idea, they're going to shoot holes through it. They're going to tell you why you shouldn't do it, why you're not thinking of these huge problems that you could encounter, why nobody's going to buy this product, like blah, blah, blah. So just be very specific with the people who you do talk about your goals and your dreams with. Those people should be supporting your growth. They should be big thinkers. Those are people who have done big things. Okay. And if somebody has achieved something pretty massive in their life and you tell them a dream and a goal that you have and something really cool that you're excited to launch and work on and to build, they're not going to naysay you because they've done the same exact thing. It may look different, right? They may have built something completely different, but they've taken this dream, this idea, this little teeny seed, and they've nursed it to a full, huge oak tree. So those are the kind of people who will cheer you on and will help you to build the correct mindset around your dreams, right? So not everyone gets access to your dreams. Okay, so some small steps here. This week, I want you to notice when people freely give you their opinions. And as you notice this week, it will be a lot. Honestly, usually when you bring up a topic to people, they have opinions about it. No matter what you were talking about, even if you're like talking about the avocado toast that you had this morning, somebody's going to tell you if they like it. Somebody's going to tell you if they don't like it. Somebody's going to tell you if they want salt seasoning on their avocado toast. Like there's opinions about everything. So just notice today or this week, notice when they give you opinions. And if you want to go a step further, ask yourself, do I want to accept their opinion? Do they have experience in this topic? Do I want the results that they have? Those questions are like gold because as you ask yourself, do they have experience? Most of the time, the people who are telling you all the things, all the bad things, they don't even have experience in what they're talking about. And then do they have the results that I want? Super powerful, super powerful. That will help you weed through a lot of the opinions and the things that are coming your way so that you can more easily dismiss the opinions of others that are not needed. So you can create this space so you can hear your inner voice, right? And just have time to think about what you actually want for your life, your goals, right? To stay kind of focused in on those. And again, if you are not sure, try journaling, try writing it out. That usually helps. But learning to trust your voice takes practice. And even learning to hear your own voice takes practice. But it gets a lot easier when you can clear out other people's opinions. And when you can clearly see their opinions for what they are, just opinions. They're not facts. And then you get to choose what you do with that opinion. You can choose to accept it. You can choose to hear it and just let it go. I'm so excited for you to be identifying opinions and deciding what you're going to do with those opinions this week. As always, I see you, I believe in you, and I'm cheering you on every step of the way. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Quiet Courage. Remember, courage is the first step to confidence, and together we practice showing up, taking brave steps, and building that confidence every day. If this episode encouraged you, I'd be so thankful if you'd share with a friend. Keep taking those small steps, and I'll see you on the next episode.